So most markets have been relatively calm over the last 2 or 3 months since we did the last rebalance of changes, and I last did an update, which is perhaps surprising considering the bank failures we've had in the US going back 2 or 3 months, and also we've seen in Europe. So, why are markets so calm? And for example, we've seen that, the tech-heavy Nasdaq in the US, hitting the highest level it has since last August. And I think we appear to be edging ever closer to some better news on inflation, and this is what markets, are really hoping for. And so we should expect that sort of headline number to start falling over the coming months, in the US and here in the UK. And this is leading investors to expect central banks to stop increasing interest rates and then to start pausing again fairly soon afterwards. And I think another positive is that the consumer appears to be holding up very, very well, which I think is perhaps a little surprising considering the issues we've had around high energy prices and also rising mortgage costs. So there's definitely some good news which markets are holding on to. So is it time to join the party and start taking risk up again in portfolios? And I think the short answer is no. And we still believe that it's more prudent to keep portfolios evenly balanced. So we've got some exciting and cheap holdings which have got lots of potential upside. Once markets and the economy starts picking up once again. And we're balancing that with some higher quality, albeit more expensive holdings, which perhaps provide greater stability in the portfolios, while also having exposure to higher income funds in both bonds and equities. So effectively, we're being paid while we wait for some greater clarity around the direction of the economy and markets once again. So let's turn to portfolios and some of the changes which we've just made. No overall change in terms of asset allocation, in terms of maintaining a small underweight to equities and bonds and an overweight to alternatives. And that's really sort of given our concern about inflation and interest rates staying higher and for longer than the markets currently anticipate. Within equities, we're reducing our exposure to some of the deeper value UK funds. We're selling our UK small cap exposure on a short-term tactical basis, just waiting for a better opportunity to go back into that space. And we're buying a new real assets fund, which invests, it gives exposure to property, infrastructure and commodity equities, which we think could be very exciting, over the next 6 months, 12 months, 2 or 3 years or so. Within alternatives, we are making some small changes. So we've got a good mix of funds with different styles and different strategies, so that overall it gives they blend well together and should produce steady returns in the mid to high single digits with relatively low volatility. So to sum up, we're still positive on the opportunities which we can find, particularly in equity markets, but feel it's just prudent just to be careful in terms of how much risk we take just over the coming months, given the uncertainty around inflation, interest rates, and how central banks are going to respond to that sort of changing environment. So I hope this was a useful update. That's all.